Okay, so we got a few things to talk about in this video. Travel around the world due to the war in the Middle East is really starting to have a global impact now. 20,000 flights have been canceled since the war started, and it doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. But even if you're not flying to the Middle East or anywhere near it, it still could have some impact on you. So in today's video, I'm going to discuss this. I also have a second topic here. The state of Hawaii, which I used to visit frequently, is really starting to notice that the Canadians aren't showing up anymore. Now, I'm a bit torn when it comes to Hawaii, because I know they were illegally annexed by the United States. But then again, they are part of the United States. So I'm going to talk about this in this video as well. The backdrop for this video comes from Paul, who took this photo at Echo Lake Provincial Park in British Columbia. He mentioned in his email that this is one of his favorite places to go fly fishing. Thanks for sending this over, Paul, and also thank you for the encouragement in your email. Now, I got some great news for those looking for alternatives to the US social media platforms. Our fellow Canadian Todd Maffin created a video about hey.cafe. It's a social media platform that is built in Canada and only has servers in Canada and Europe. I was able to create my Guard the Lead page with the initial Hello World post, and some of you have already found me. So if you want to hear more information about the Canadian-made social media platform, I will leave a link in the description below to Todd Maffin's video. And I have some more good news. The creator of hey.cafe will be jumping on a call with me next week sometime. So I'm looking forward to my discussion with him and sharing it with everybody. But if you're interested in signing up, I will leave a link to hey.cafe in the description below. It's free to join and it's for everyone around the world. So I hope to see you there. Okay, let's get to the first report from France 24.
A now familiar sight around the world. Crowds of passengers stranded in airports, looking for ways to get home as the war in Iran continues to rage. It's one of the worst blows possible for trust in the travel and tourism industries.
It's a shame that the handling of this isn't being managed very well. The airlines aren't really giving any solutions, and it needs to be addressed.
Now, I know this is easier for me to say because I'm sitting at home and I'm not stranded at an airport right now. But these are not normal times that we're living in right now. You can see from this screenshot from Flight Radar 24, many of the airports in the Middle East are still closed. So I'm not really too sure what options passengers have right now, and I don't even know what the airlines can do. Unless the people who are stranded are willing to go on a bus and travel to a neighboring country that hasn't closed down the airport, there isn't much that you can actually do.
It's not just tourists either, but those who rely on travel for work, particularly in developing nations who've now seen their source of income disappear.
We are remittance earners. We go abroad because our families need us to, and we can't do anything here at home. We can earn some money abroad.
The reputational damage from the cancellation of over 20,000 flights through the Middle East and counting is hard to calculate. Regional tourism is worth around $367 billion a year, with countries like the United Arab Emirates and Qatar investing deeply in becoming global aviation transit hubs for decades.
A $360 billion tourism industry, and only in about, 4 or 5 days, has been completely shut down. Now, the Middle East might not be a destination that many in North America would consider. I've only been there because of work, but I was considering bringing Mrs. GTL there because she's never been there yet. But I don't think that's going to happen for a while. But what I'm trying to say is that it is a big industry, even though many of us in North America wouldn't consider it. But not just the tourism industry. I mean, there's more news about the oil and gas and the Strait of Hormuz being shut down by Iran. I really have to sit back sometimes and think how much worse this can actually get the longer it drags on.
Within the Middle East, an 8-hour flying distance covers 2/3 of the world population. So it is a strategic corridor in terms of being able to move west to east. 20 to 30% of the world's travel and trade goes through that corridor. When it comes to global travel especially, trust and confidence are the main currencies, and this has broken that.
Middle Eastern carriers are now seeing bookings in freefall as travellers seek alternatives, and that's on top of a potential shock from surging oil prices. Delta Airlines stated in its latest filing that a 10% increase on jet fuel would add $1 billion to its annual fuel bill.
Now, the report cuts off here, but talking about the jet fuel, I saw someone in the comments saying that whatever's happening in the Middle East doesn't affect them. And that's a very short-sighted comment if you ask me. Sure, you might not be traveling to the Middle East or vacationing there, but what's also happening as well is the oil and gas prices, they will be going up. So if you drive a car, you're probably going to be paying a little bit more. Or if you're going to take a flight vacation to somewhere else, well, the airlines have to pay for the fuel, and if it's going to cost them more, it's going to cost you more to fly as well. So I would advise anyone that has any travel plans coming up, you might want to keep an eye on the prices. But to be honest, right now is probably not a really good time to travel. Now, speaking of traveling, this is one place that I'm no longer going to, which I did love going to in the past. A few of our viewers have sent me a couple articles on Hawaii, and I really appreciate you sending this over, because this one kind of hits home for me. The first article is titled, Canadian Absence Being Felt on Hawaiian Beaches and in Shops. The article starts off by saying, the beach isn't deserted, nor is the swimming pool, but the reality of what's missing here in Hawaii is blatantly obvious. Given that tourism is the state's largest industry, the damage is seen in closed shops and restaurants and the absence of friends. Now, I highlighted this part because I wanted to prove a point. I'm kind of tired of the haters saying that, hey, there's lots of people on the beaches, or hey, there's lots of people on the strip in Las Vegas. Sure, there might be people, but people walking around on the street or walking around on the beach is not a good indicator on whether or not the city or the state is doing well. To me, the best indicator is seeing all the empty seats in the restaurants, the closed businesses, and the reports from the business owners saying that they're down by X amount of percent. The article then goes on to say, on Maui, COVID and its restrictions, coupled with the wildfire that decimated Lahaina in 2023, was a 1-2 punch. The knockout blow came with the US president's fit directed at Canada and his outrageous blatant assertions that Canada should become the 51st state. The movement has manifested itself in many ways, but what is obvious is the effect on the tourism industry. Many Canadians, obviously not me, are quietly making their feelings known and their money felt. There are many reasons for my decision, none of which is particularly relevant, except maybe to come and honor the Hawaiian canoe ceremony, to disperse the ashes of my dear friend's late wife. To offset our guilt about being on US soil, we joked about taking back Hawaii from the Americans who overthrew the monarchy in 1893. Now I know she says she's just joking about this, but I don't consider it a joke. Because if Canada were to do that, we'd be no better than the United States. Now I wanted to read out this highlighted part. Vancouver friends who have been coming to the resort for more years than I can remember simply write, or write simply, we will not be anywhere across the 49th while the present administration is in charge. We miss everyone for sure. By not being in the US, we are part of the 41% of Canadians who are skipping the Hawaii this year. Just can't do it. We're going to Club Med in Cancun. So let me ask the people watching this video right now, are you part of the 41%? I'm pretty sure most of you are. But this shows that people that used to go to Hawaii for years, decades, or however long, have made the decision not to go anymore. So let us know in the comments, have you canceled your Hawaii trip within the last year? And if you did, where did you go instead? I'm curious to hear where everyone's new destination is. Now this next article also talks about Hawaii, and it's from thetravel.com. It quotes the same article from the Calgary Herald. So I'm not going to go over it in detail because it's already been said. But there are a few points here that I really wanted to read out to everyone. The article quoted somebody from Reddit, and it says, we have traveled to Hawaii 4 times since 2019. Absolutely love it. But this year we went to Mexico. Some of the people I know try and justify going to the States by saying they are not political. Even if you can get past the 51st state threats and the tariff war, I just cannot look past the human rights violations that are happening right now. Now, for those of you who might still know people going to the US, what are the excuses that you usually heard? For me, I also hear the not political excuse quite a bit. But I also hear people saying, you know what, I just want to go on my vacation. I'm not going to let one man dictate what I want to do. I had someone I went to college with in the early 2000s say that to me. And he said, even if I do boycott, it's not really going to matter. And then he says, my spending in the US is so small, it's not really going to matter at all. Notice I didn't say he was my friend. I just said he was someone I know from college. He's one of these guys who only reaches out if he needs something. I'm sure everybody knows someone like that. But what I was trying to explain to them is that even if you're spending $20, $30, $40 at a restaurant or at a shop in the US, it adds up. But talking to him was like talking to a brick wall. And all I had to say is, okay, good luck. The article then goes on to say, for many Canadians, a return to the United States is not on the itinerary for the near future. One person wrote on Reddit, imagine vacationing in a country that threatens to invade you. And this right here is something that everybody should remember. It's not just the one guy in the White House that's trying to invade us. There's a lot of other citizens that support him and are eager to have us as our 51st state. Like this idiot right here.
I live here in Washington, D.C., and we're looking forward to having you as our 51st state.
Let me remind everybody, the orange guy might be gone, and he might be in 6 feet under sooner or later. But this guy's not going anywhere. And neither are 77 million of them who actually voted for the orange guy. Now let me read out the rest of the comments. Tariffs alone would not stop me from traveling to the US. Threats to annex Canada and ICE becoming a roaming band of kidnappers are the issue. I agree with his comment because during the first term, I was still going to the United States, despite the tariffs being thrown on Canada. The next comment, this guy will never go again. I have boycotted for a lot less than this, and when I boycott, I mean it. I think we all agree with that one. And the last one, which I think is the most important, the North remembers. You know, I've said plenty of times on my channel that I'm not going to forget what's going on. And I have to remind the US businesses that you've never seen anything like this before. We're not just Canadians, but the entire world is pissed off at your country. Some people will say they'll go back after the orange guy's gone, and that everything will go back to normal. Well, my channel has been dedicated to making sure that everybody knows and remembers what's gone on in the past year and a bit. I will always remember all the hater comments I get, all the hating emails, all the insults that I get from the US citizens who say they never needed anything from us to begin with. It is something that I will always remember until probably my last day on this earth. Now, will my mind change on going to the United States? Right now, I would say no. But I would have to see some drastic changes in the United States in order for me to even consider it. And what we're seeing right now, which is just basically a quarterly national protest, isn't enough for me. But even if things do get better and things start to somewhat get back to normal, I'm always going to have it in the back of my mind if I'm ever in the United States. Let's say I'm at a restaurant or a shop or something like that. It's always going to be in my mind. Did this shop owner or manager or whoever I'm speaking to at the moment, did he vote for the chaos that had started in 2025? And for me, I don't want to have to be on vacation thinking about this. And I definitely don't want to be giving my hard-earned money to anyone who voted for the orange guy. So it's something to think about if there's anybody who's thinking that things are going to go back to normal after 3 years. Do you really want to be giving your hard-earned money to potentially somebody who supported annexing your country? Just something to think about. Okay, that's all I got for this video. If you guys are wondering where the co-host is, I think I found the hack. And it's called hair ties. She's been busy with this the whole video. I think this works better than treats. So if you are waiting for her, unfortunately you have to wait for the next video. If you found any value or agreed with anything I said today, or you want to hear more from a Canadian and international perspective without the US media bias, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button below so you're notified of my future videos. Thanks everyone. I'll catch you in the next one.